Coming up on today's show, Volvo's going electric, Model 3 enters production, and we get a date for the 2018 Nissan Leaf debut. These stories and more coming next on 10. Like all our content, today's show is funded by the in-stream ads on today's video and by the kind donations of viewers like you. Follow the link at the end of today's video to make a monthly donation to our Patreon crowdfunding campaign to help keep us independent and impartial. And if you're already donating, thanks for your continued support. It's Friday, July 7th, 2017. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield, and we've got a lot of news to cover this week, so I'm just going to launch headlong into our first story, which this week comes from Swedish automaker Volvo. For some time, Volvo has stated it feels the future for the brand lies with electric vehicles, and midweek it confirmed that belief by stating every car it makes from 2019 onwards will have some form of electric drivetrain, be it fully electric, hybrid, or plug-in hybrid. Relegating the internal combustion engine to history, Volvo says it will launch 5 fully electric cars between 2019 and 2021, with 3 of them wearing the Volvo badge and 2 wearing Volvo's Polestar performance logo, while Suck, Squeeze, Bang, Blow will remain in hybrids and plug-in hybrids for a while. Volvo says it's still committed to a future where all of its cars are zero emission. So here's to that bright new future. For the past few months, we've had snippets of information drip-fed to us about the Model 3 by Tesla CEO Elon Musk, but as announced this week, Model 3 production has now officially begun, several weeks ahead of schedule, with the first batch of 30 or so Model 3 cars due to be delivered to customers on July 28th at a special event at Tesla's Fremont production facility. It's a nice surprise and does soften the news that Tesla delivered just 22,000 plug-in cars during Q2, less than it did in Q1. The reason, apparently, is a lack of 100 kilowatt-hour battery packs for its high-end flagship Model S and Model X, which Tesla says it's now resolved and production has increased. That said, even news of Model 3 production didn't stop the bad Q2 figures from causing a tank in Tesla share prices, which is now more than $78 less than it was a few weeks ago. Tesla might have suffered a slower than expected second quarter, but it seems overall the month of June was pretty good for electric car sales in the US, with the Chevrolet Volt range extended electric car and Chevrolet Bolt EV both having a great month sales-wise. Volt remained at the top of the plug-in sales chart, selling 1,745 units, with the Bolt EV sniping at its heels with 1,642 units sold. Interestingly, even Nissan sold a reasonable 1,505 units, despite its imminent replacement later this year by the all-new 2018 Nissan Leaf. As for other models, well, the Prius Prime was the only other car to manage sales above 1,000 units per month, clocking in 1,619 units. Everything else, including the BMW i3, Volkswagen e-Golf and Audi A3 e-tron plug-in hybrid, failed to hit that target, with only the BMW i3 managing to squeeze past even the 500-unit mark. Of course, Tesla did sell more models, but as usual, it doesn't provide geographic breakdown or even monthly sales figures, so that's a bit of a moot point right now. Talking of Tesla, the California company got into a little spat this week with the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety after the Model S sedan found itself missing out on a top safety pick award due to ever-evolving crash tests at the IIHS and the car's long-in-the-tooth design. Tesla naturally wasn't happy about the IIHS's crash test results and ended up publicly questioning the motives of the organisation and making a little bit of a fool of itself. While the Model S is an extremely safe car, it's worth remembering that crash test safety improves over time, so it's really no surprise a 5-year-old car design now gets a lower rating than it once did, right? What are you doing on September 6th? Or if you happen to be in the US, September 5th? Well, if you're stuck for something to do, you might be interested to know that's when Nissan will officially unveil its next generation Leaf electric hatchback. As I've said before, little is known about the car, but Nissan has teased in some videos this week that it will come with parking assistance technology and semi-autonomous driver assistance features, as well as an expected range of more than 200 miles per charge and next generation CHAdeMO capability to charge at power levels of up to 150 kilowatts. Everything else is a little bit of a mystery right now, but as always, when I have more to share, I will. We all know that emissions from internal combustion engine vehicles are both a health risk and an accelerating factor in human-caused global warming, and so it's no surprise that countries around the world are beginning to push towards a ban of either diesel, petrol or internal combustion engine vehicles completely. France is the latest to step on the bandwagon, announcing this week that it will ban all internal combustion engine vehicles from 2040 onwards. The goal? To make France carbon neutral by 2050. Now, given the feedback I've had in previous weeks, I'm going to keep politics out of this one, but I hope you'll allow me a little très bien in France's direction for committing to this particular move. When it comes to plug-in cars, the BMW i3 and BMW i8 are pretty well known as BMW's flagship plug-in models, powered by the company's own lithium-ion batteries and constructed with lightweight and energy-efficient carbon fibre reinforced plastics. But now BMW's battery packs are powering something else instead, a range of high-powered boats from electric boat manufacturer Torqeedo. Leveraging the modular design of the i3 and i8 battery pack, it was simple and easy for the high-voltage batteries to be integrated into the company's range of plug-in boats, and leads to an interesting future where boats lose the traditional roar of a 2- or 4-stroke onboard engine and instead take on the quiet serenity of an electric motor instead. Onwards to the future. As the world's largest market for plug-in vehicles, it not only produces 50% of the world's electric cars, but consumes a similar amount. China has a supercritical part to play if we're to move a large part of the world's transportation systems away from the internal combustion engine and onto the electric motor. And this week we heard that China is revising the way it offers incentives to electric car buyers. Buy a car with more than 350 kilometres, that's 217 miles of range per charge, and the Chinese government will issue the maximum electric car credit possible to you. Buy a car with a shorter range and you'll get less credits and less kickbacks. It's a sensible scheme we've seen implemented elsewhere in the world, and I do hope it continues. Do you agree? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Vehicle-to-grid technology, where cars can communicate with a local utility grid and then even transfer power from themselves back to the grid in some cases, has often been viewed as a pretty hit-and-miss technology, with some critics claiming the cost of the technology itself can't justify the savings. But this week, data was released from a recent study between PG&E and BMW in California, in which a small-scale V2G program was run in which the utility company could delay charging of customers' cars during peak demand periods, showing that just 100 participants in 18 months helped smooth out the grid peak demand to the tune of 19,500 kilowatt hours. And that means less demand on the grid, less reliance on dirty generation methods in peak hours, and of course, a cleaner grid all round. Well done. It might be coming to production earlier than initially predicted, but it looks like Tesla's Model 3 may soon have some unexpected competition from BMW, which, says German language publication Handelsblatt, is preparing to unveil an all-electric 3 Series this autumn, which will go head-to-head with the Model 3 in the luxury car marketplace. And due to debut in Munich in September, this car will offer a range of around 400 kilometres, 250 miles, placing it right into the Model 3 territory. And with BMW having far more spare cash than Tesla right now, it's going to be interesting to see just how the two companies will fare off against one another. The irony? That Tesla planned the Model 3 to be a 3 Series beta, and now the tables could be reversed. Watch this space. And finally, with worries about financial stability and a whole slew of technical questions yet unanswered, I've got to admit that I've been a little, well, cold on Faraday Future's FF91. But at the end of last month, at the iconic Pikes Peak hill climb, an FF91 set a new production record for an electric vehicle, managing to climb the hill in 11 minutes, 25.082 seconds. I should note here that while it was classified as a production vehicle, the FF91 is obviously not in production yet. And I should also note that the car was quite heavily modified for the race. It also had some issues at around the 10-minute 45-second mark, requiring it to be stopped and power cycled before it could continue. What does that mean? Well, I'll let you decide for yourself. And on that note, I'm afraid it's time for me to say goodbye. As always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell to find out the minute a new show is uploaded. And if you liked what you saw today and you want to help make more shows like this, please consider making a donation to the Patreon crowdfunding campaign for this show. I've left a clickable link below in the description and one at the end of today's video. That's it. Thanks for joining me. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. That was 10. Have a great weekend, and until next time, keep evolving.